no. I'm not there yet. It's not there yet.
Now, without further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, I'd like to hand you over to Simon Henderson, the best man.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
You've obviously got your own renter crowd here.
That's paid to get me.
The younger one.
For those of you that don't know me, my name's Simon, and as Tim said, I'm his best man. I'm about to give Tim the worst few minutes of his life. Which I think is only fair. As Leanna's worst few minutes are to come later tonight. Firstly, Tim, let me say what an honour it is to be chosen as your best man. I know you're a hugely successful, popular character, so there must have been many candidates. And as your oldest friend, let me firstly say thank you. Secondly, let me say sorry. Whilst it's an honour to be chosen as your best man, it is also my duty to embarrass you in front of all of your friends and family. Let me tell you all, this has not been the easiest speech to write. It's not easy to read, either. The list of stories provided by both Tim and Leanna that I'm not allowed to include in this speech is longer than the speech itself. I'd like to start with a little background about Tim and I. According to this, we met when we were 4 years old, although according to Tim it was 3, but it was at play school. And Tim and I grew up together, going through play school, primary and secondary school, scouts, Saturday jobs, flat shares. And we've remained close friends, perhaps until now. My earliest memories of Tim are those summer afternoons in the school holidays when we'd be playing in the gardens. And Tim would always be smiling.
And this is his old lady laughing.
So much so that later in life Tim acquired the nickname Smiler. Whatever happened, whatever life threw at Tim, he would always face life with a smile. One memory that I would like to relate to you all takes place one summer's morning during the school holidays. Our parents were out at work, and I was round at Tim's house to play for the day. And we were playing on the computer, on the VIC-20. In Tim's usual brotherly fashion, he had borrowed something from Jonathan without his permission. Jonathan took it upon himself to reclaim what was rightfully his. He entered Tim's bedroom and promptly took him in a headlock. The fight broke out. There were arms and legs flying everywhere. Tim bounced from the bed, onto the floor, out onto the landing at one stage. So I did what any best mate would do under these circumstances. I hid in the spare bedroom. Once the crashes and bangs had subsided and I decided it was safe to return, I walked into Tim's bedroom to see him sat there on the bed in floods of tears streaming down his face, but still with the biggest grin on his face I've ever seen.
Is that one of your haircuts, Mum?
I got your hair.
You used to use a basin as well, did you?
As we grew older, Tim was very quick to start work. Those of you that know Tim will appreciate that he's very careful with his money. And this started at a very early age. His first job was a weekly paper round at the local corner shop. And he would boost this income taking various packaging jobs at the local factories. So during our late teens, Tim and I were both doing part-time work at this stage, and we decided that we had to spend our money wisely. We decided we should invest it in local businesses. So I made a decision to spend our hard-earned money with one particular local entrepreneur. This is our local public house. One particular evening, Tim, myself and several friends had been investing for several hours after a hard week at school. When the landlord approached us and asked us to leave, as apparently he had to open soon for the morning trade. After a near double-figure night of Fosters and Holston export chasers, we staggered out onto the step outside there to say our goodbyes. It was at this point that Tim made an extraordinary revelation to me. He knows what's coming. I don't like beer. But you've been drinking it all night. You always drink beer. Why do you drink beer if you don't like it? To which Tim replied, well, you got to, ain't you? Leanna assures me that Tim's tastes have changed somewhat since then. As Tim grew older, it became apparent that he had a strong interest in art and design. Those of you that know Tim will know he's a successful graphic designer in his own right, with many leading high street brands in his portfolio. His natural talents first became apparent one afternoon after school. A group of friends and I went round to Tim's house for tea. We walked in to see this enormous portrait on the dining room table. It was over 3 foot high, featuring a handsome chiselled man in a t-shirt. One of the best drawings I've seen to date. The lighting in it was fantastic, the realism stood out. We were all impressed, although Tim was slightly less so. I think he may have been slightly offended when we all asked of him, who is it? To which he sheepishly replied, me. But Tim's love of art and graphics grew, and at the age of 18, a momentous milestone in any teenage lad's life, we embarked on our first foreign holiday without our parents. Ibiza, 1991.
Less said the better, I think.
We saved for months and planned for weeks, discussed the clothes to take, and dreamed of the sea, sand and senoritas that Ibiza may have to offer Club 1830 holidaymakers. We all donned our best outfits and set off to experience adulthood.
That's you.
Wait, which one's Tim? So upon arriving at the hotel in the middle of the night, we started to unpack. In the suitcases, Tim Otley, Simon Merry and myself unpacking the latest trends from Off the Peg and Drivers. Our favourite boots, trainers and more toiletries and perfumes than you'd find in an average duty-free